how's it going, everyone? As you can tell from the title, which is admittedly a little bit of clickbait, we're going to be doing some Plastidipping today on my 2003 Saab 9.3. So probably like 3 years ago, as a joke for Halloween, I Plastidipped like the gas cap and a couple other small things on my Turbo X back when I had it orange, kind of go with the black and orange Halloween theme. I'm not going to be doing anything stupid like that today. This is actually an idea I got from a friend, so big shout out to John at dat_Saab. You guys have seen his 9.5 on the channel before. But we were just kind of talking yesterday. I mentioned I had this Bug Shield I was thinking about selling. You guys have seen this in a video before. I actually tested it out on a road trip to California and it worked extremely well. But I never liked how it looked, mostly because you can see it's like this ugly brown color. And I thought, well, maybe I could paint it, you know, that might help make it look better. But at the same time, if I paint it, then I'm gonna lose the Saab logo right here, and it's just not gonna look as good. So he recommended not only, why don't you Plastidip it, but Plastidip the inside of it, because it's already kind of see-through. If I Plastidip the inside of it, I'm not gonna be touching this, so I'll be keeping the Saab logo right here. And then of course, it being Plastidip, I can also peel it off whenever I want. So that's what we're going to be doing today. We're pretty much going to be Plastidipping the inside of this and probably reinstalling it on the car, because it really did a good job, like I said, helping to keep it clean. Or maybe I'll leave it off the car. I honestly don't know, but I just want to Plastidip it to see how it looks. I picked this can up at AutoZone yesterday. It's just vinyl wrap technically, but it's just Plastidip. I like how they showed on M4 of all cars. Just gloss black. So we're just going to be spraying this on the inside here. I'll obviously go through the exact process when the time comes. One other update I did want to provide, I've been promoting it every time someone sends me a plate on my Instagram, because I am collecting a bunch of license plates for my wall. It's either going to go on that wall there or probably this wall, because this wall I've got all my parts and stuff, so there's not a ton of wall space over here. It's also the furthest out of the way, but I wanted to kind of just show you guys the collection I'm starting to get here. I have a bunch of command strips. I think that's how I'm going to put them on the wall, because I don't want to nail 1,000 holes into my wall. But I have all my domestic plates here. A lot of them are, you know, like the Turbo X plate, California, Illinois, Indiana. You know, there's a bunch in here that people have sent me, and anyone who sent me one, I write their name on the back, and then I send them back a sticker as a thank you. But we've got a lot of plates here. So yeah, and then the international ones are the ones I think are the coolest. Netherlands, we've got like 4 or 5 Swedish ones. We've got one from Ireland, UK, Germany. So there's a whole big collection here of plates. I think I have almost 40 plates now, and they just kind of keep trickling in, which is why I still haven't put any up. I still have lots more on the way. So if you guys are interested in sending me a plate, an old license plate that you have is from a state I don't already have, or a country I don't already have especially, I definitely love to have it, and I can send you back a sticker as a thank you. So please DM me on Instagram for that, or you can shoot me an email if you don't have Instagram. I'll put both those on the screen right here. But I think that's enough about that. I just figured I'd provide a quick update since I haven't really talked about it, but it's definitely still happening. I've got a big pile of plates that's growing, but let's go ahead and focus on the topic of today's video once again. So what we really need to start off by doing is cleaning this off. This front side doesn't matter too much. You can see there's a bunch of dead bugs on it. Obviously that's what it's supposed to. This inside is pretty much just dusty, but we're just gonna start by cleaning this all off, getting it 100% clean, and then we'll be ready to start spraying it. So I have a couple products I'm going to use here, honestly over the top. I can get away with just using this quick detailer, but I also have this bug and tar remover, so I'm just going to spray this along the whole front first to kind of start digging in and getting those bugs. We'll wipe that off with one of the microfibers, and then if there's anything left, or we'll still go over it with a quick detailer, because this isn't really a cleaner, it's just to kind of get rid of the stuff. Then we'll go over it with the quick detailer, then we'll do the underside, which is the most important part because it's what's getting painted or Plastidipped. But yeah, let's go ahead and get started. You guys are wondering where I got this. I was initially going to sell it, but no one locally really showed any interest in it, and to ship something like this would be extremely expensive, because I was only going to sell it for like 30 bucks. So the people that were interested that are not local to me, I'm sorry, but trust me, it's not worth your money to ship it. Then we got most of the hard stuff off. Let's use our quick detailer here. That already looks a lot better. For those of you that might have had one of these new on your 9.3, Let me know if it originally came like with this ugly brown tint. I'm guessing that the sun just did this over time. It was initially more of like a black tint. I guess another option I could have considered was just putting more tint over it instead of Plastidipping the backside, but that's fine. The only area of concern I see is getting in these areas here that are like under these mounting brackets. That might prove a little bit difficult. Before we get too far into this, I do also want to provide some other updates. First being the new car. You guys are probably seeing this right before the new car is supposedly supposed to be delivered. It's supposed to be delivered on the new car is supposed to be delivered on February 18th. Was initially supposed to be delivered February 4th or February 7th, excuse me, which never happened because of weather delays. So I don't know how weather causes it to be delayed almost 2 weeks. But hopefully it's still on schedule for the 18th. As of now when I'm filming this, it is. So hopefully I'll have my reveal video up right after that. I also do have brand new suspension from Maptune coming for the 2.0, which will hopefully, that is also delayed. It's still currently in Europe. So hopefully that'll come relatively soon as well. I apologize for all the dogs barking in the background and squealing, but yeah, let's get to painting. So to properly do this, you're supposed to shake the can for a minute first. I already did that. Now we're going to apply at least 4 light coats, and these should be about 5 minutes apart. And then the last coat we're going to do is going to be a much thicker and heavier coat to help it all bond together and make it easy to peel off down the road. So I'm about 5 coats in, and honestly it's not turning out the best. I'm not super happy with how it looks so far. I haven't put it in the sun, which is the real test, but there's a couple spots where the Plastidip has kind of like bubbled up. There's one spot right there, and then there's another one kind of in the same spot on the other side that's not as bad. So I think I'm going to let it dry a little bit more, probably hit it with one more heavy coat and see if I can, with that coat, kind of get this to even out a little bit. And we'll let it dry. It's supposed to dry the touch in 30 minutes and to handle in 2 hours. So I'm gonna go take care of some other stuff. I'm gonna hit it with one more heavy coat, and then yeah, hopefully it'll look pretty good once we get it out in the sun when it dries. I think I'm up to a total of 7 coats now. It's definitely much more black than it was before. That issue is starting to get a little bit better. I put it out in the sun, and there were a couple spots that still needed it, like in the middle here, so I just sprayed the middle again. I'm gonna let it dry a little bit more, take it out, look at it in the sun, probably do one more coat and touch it up after that. But these areas back in here are just so hard to get to. Even if I tilt this up I kind of spray straight down into it, just because it's such a small area, it's hard to get down in there without creating just a big pool of Plastidip, which makes it look horrible. It's been 2 hours now, and I have to say this looks pretty good. Better than I anticipated, honestly, given how I had some issues with stuff sticking. So I need to clean up the front once again, but you can see this, it still kind of has a little bit of a brown tint to it, which I don't mind at all, but you can see this looks just about black. I'm going to go over all this with some detail spray once again, just to kind of clean up the front side of it, but I'm really happy with how this turned out. Turned out much better than I thought it would. Yeah, so this definitely looks a lot better than it did before. I'm really happy with this, and I think given the fact that my car is dark blue, the black might look just a little bit weird, but it'll definitely look better than the brown tannish color did. And I think if you have a dark colored Saab, like a black one in particular, this would look really, really good. So, without further ado, this is all dried up. Let's go ahead and throw it on. I've had a really bad habit lately of dropping bolts. And I just did it again, and because those bolts are so small, there's no way I am going to find that. But we've got a couple of them on, so for now and for video's sake, it is mounted on there. So let's see how she looks. So here it is, and I have to say, it looks a lot better than I thought it would. I was kind of skeptical about just the Bug Shield as a whole and how it would look. I was never really a fan of how it looked to begin with, but this just looks really good. It still has a really like deep brown hue to it now, kind of. But overall, it's much darker. It kind of blends in with the paint. Everything a lot better. I mean, when it's in the shadow here, you can't even really see the Bug Shield much at all. Now the only downside of what I did is that before, because this was just tinted, you could still see the Saab logo under here. Now you can't, so that kind of sucks. Let me know what you think down below in the comments, if I should keep it or if not, and if you think it looks any better than it did before. So with that said, thank you all so much for watching, and I'll see you next time.